Hey folks, it's Ardwulf. Welcome. Today we're going to have a look at the brand new entry in the Battalion Combat series from Multiman Publishing, the gamers, the late great Dean Essig as series designer and game designer Carl Fung. This is the battle for Kalak in July 1942 and the Battle of the Cheer River in December 1942. And one of those happens on the way that the Germans take to Stalingrad, and the other takes place as the Germans are attempting to break out the trapped 6th Army at Stalingrad. Neither of them actually occur in Stalingrad. So let's see what we get in the box. As is typical for Multiman Publishing, we have a little sheet. We should have one box and a lid, two 22 by 34 inch map sheets, one 19 and a quarter by 17 inch map sheet, four counter sheets, a BCS series rulebook, a support rulebook, charts and tables, Inflection Point game-specific rulebook, a Kalak game-specific rulebook, a Cheer game-specific rulebook, and two six-sided dice. So without further ado, let's take a look. I will start by dropping one of the no doubt attractive gamers-style maps onto the table. So apparently one of the few things that is being regarded as an error is that on some copies of the maps, the MMP logo is very fuzzy. That's definitely the case here. If that is the only thing that is fuzzy, personally, I don't care too much. I believe MMP is investigating that situation. So, as I think you'll see, we have a great deal of open terrain here, as you would expect. Not a particularly punchy map. This is map A. The small-sized map is the Cheer map, actually. First of all, I like to go through the pieces in kind of order of what kind of pieces we're talking about. And the gamers do make that a little, or MMP, I guess, do make that a little difficult, but it's not like it's a big crisis. All right, so in addition to the 2.5, roughly, maps, we've got this turn record chart. It has a terrain key, the weather table, and replacements on it as well. Is this double-sided? It is not. We have two BCS 2.0 charts and tables booklets. Well, I should say folios. It's a 11 by 17 player aid card with all of the charts and tables that you will need to reference whilst playing BCS. And then we have a bunch of booklets. So first is the BCS 2.0 series rules. I think we'll probably eventually get it like a 2.1 sooner or later, but BCS is in a really, really good place right now, in my opinion. We also get, as in most of, if not all, of the BCS games, this series support book, which is very helpful when learning the system. If you are trying to learn BCS, my best advice for you is to hop over to a YouTube channel called The Tabletop's Edge. Doug, the fellow behind that amazing YouTube channel, has a complete series of playthrough videos of Last Blitzkrieg. That's the first game in the series, but he does use the up-to-date rules, and those are the rules you want to use, quite frankly. So go check that out. It's awesome stuff. We also have the Inflection Point game-specific rules, and the paper here is all kind of a satin finish paper. The rulebook is 24 pages, or actually, I should say the support book is 24 pages. The rulebook is more like 48 pages. In fact, it is 48 pages. Not that complicated a game, but it can be hairy, particularly if you're an experienced wargamer and are maybe not used to some of the novel ideas present in BCS. This is the game-specific rulebook. It is a 12-page book. Basically all of it is filled with designer's notes and stuff, and some very minor notes. Here's a picture of Dean, the late Dean, unfortunately. Here's a picture of somebody whose name I can't read right now, and a whole lot of notes regarding historical dispositions and stuff, bibliography for both battles, and a terrain effects chart on the back. And then for each of the two sort of halves of the game, I think Kalak is the bigger part of the two, but it was discovered during development that they could easily stick Cheer River in this too, with a pretty minor increase in footprint. So we have two separate game-specific rulebooks for these, and these are each 4 pages. Looking at the scenarios, and these are pretty much, we've got some German special rules, not much. Soviet special rules, not much. We have 1, 2 scenarios for Kalak. This uses both of the Calac maps. The other one uses both Calac maps, but does exclude parts of them. And then we have our orders of arrival on the back, and these do happen 6 months or so apart, so that's why the orders of arrival are broken up in this way. On the back of the cheer booklet, we have the order of arrival for that, and we've got just a little more, but like a paragraph more game-specific rules, and we have 3 cheer scenarios, all of which just use the half-sized cheer map. So, while the counters are, which we'll look at in a second, while the counters are indeed half-inch counters, we will also see that at least one of the battles is not too big in terms of table footprint. So we have 2 standard BCS marker sheets, as has been the case lately with MMP. It's on the thicker white core stuff, which I kind of like. And we have 2 sheets of units, one that's mostly Germans with some Soviets, and one that's all Soviets except for a few markers at the end. One would expect the number of Soviet markers to be higher, given the time frame in which these scenarios play themselves out. Cannot wait, like all the other BCS games that I haven't played so far, which this is 3, by the way, the 3rd BCS game that I have not played, and I'm losing ground on Carl's efforts here, so we are going to try and get this to the table soonish. I don't know how soon that is going to be because I have other commitments that are going to keep me tied up for a while. But it will be my goal to play this soon. Maybe at Winterfest next year. We will see. So, Inflection Point, the brand new release from Multiman Publishing in the Battalion Combat series. Can't wait to get this to the table. Looks fantastic.